So yeah, that should be here. Oh, I don't know. Let's see, what's the date? Yeah, according to the eBay, it said it should be here within 10 days. Well, God, it feels like I can't wait forever. But it's been a long time, actually, since it's been a week since I did the last live stream. So I just thought I'd do an update and a little bit of explanation about the idea I'm working on. Obviously, as you remember, I was talking about making some tubular foil rings to put around the coils. Just to explain that a little bit more in detail, I mean, about how this works, I thought I'd just draw a little bit and show you what I mean. But let's just say that this is the end of the coil. Let's see. Well, the coil is. Let's see, my wire's a bit short. So the coil's running across the canopy, right? Well, we need to look at it endways. So let's say the coil is on the endways is this is awkward to draw, because if I draw a circle, then the circle becomes the foil. This is why I'm having a bit of a problem. Let's see. Right, alright, let me try this. Hang on a minute. Let's see. Where the hell is it? I'm getting a felt tip pen. Hang on a minute. Right, so imagine that this red dot is the end of the coil, right? All the little ends of the wire, right? This is the other coil coming back the other way, and right, so we're looking at endways, right? Now, as you know, if you put a piece of foil, if you have a circle, I mean a ring, a steel ring, then the flux actually travels around the ring. It actually circumvents the ring, so that the field actually it moves all the way around, basically. So then I'm going to make these foil rings go around the coil, right? And it'll only be quite thin. So the idea is that as the rotor is moving in a certain direction, what happens is the field, so let's say we have a south field being energized on this side of the ring, right? What happens is that field is travels all the way around the ring, right? And we have a certain amount of leakage, well, quite a lot of leakage actually, because it's thin foil, travels straight through the ring and interacts directly with the coil, right? So much of it goes straight through the ring. Now the idea I'm excuse me, I'm working on is that the drag will be reduced because the field is basically pivoting on that field. Because you remember when I was talking about the two poles? If you got two poles of the same like, say two south poles, and you try to bring them together, they push away from each other, right? So if you have two south poles facing each other, it creates rejection, right? So the idea is that as this rotor is passing by, the field is going to wrap around this foil, and it's going to create just enough of that extra anti-drag that I'm looking for. We've got a lot of anti-drag from the magnet arrays, so that we've got our magnet arrays in the segment, right, which is creating a lot of anti-drag effect, right? So we have our main generator magnets facing out, so we have south, and then the anti-drag part of it in the segment. But I just want to gain a little bit of extra rejection on the coils themselves. So this is why I'm going to wrap foil around there. So I thought I'd explain that a little bit so you get some idea. I'm sorry I haven't been live for a while, but I've been, yeah, just distracted with other things. The other thing I'm doing right now is I had an idea about, because I never actually, you know the pulley that's on my generator? Right, pulley. That pulley was designed for this other generator, this thing here, right? I never actually played around with different sizes. So, because it's such a tiny little motor that's driving this, and it's consuming about 190 milliamps, I thought, well, I wonder if I can optimize the ratio, the gear ratio between the motor and this, because this doesn't have much drag at all, right? This is virtually drag free, but that little motor is designed to run at high speed. So I'm gonna 3D print another pulley, 1mm diameter larger. So I want to see if that gives me a gain in less input current. So that's what I'm gonna do. Actually, I need to synchronize my SD card because I'm going to put it on the printer. There it is. Send that across. Right, so that should be on my SD card now, so I can stick it in the printer. Right, so anyway, I thought, well, why not play around with the diameter of the pulley a little bit to optimize that, because every little bit helps, you know what I mean? If I gain a bit more leverage on the actual rotor, so the little motor that's doing the work doesn't have to work so hard. So yeah, so I've actually got it running at the moment. It's been going for a few hours actually. I've actually been charging up this little battery here, right? This little 4.6 volt or something. Sort of a phone. It's going to flip around on me in a minute. What was it? 3.8 volt? Yeah, I've been sending some DC into it, and the current is it's dropped down to about, what, 15 milliamps now, because it's already charged up effectively. But I'm also running my LEDs as well. By the way, they're a lot brighter than what you think, because I've got a big light on right now. This 100 watt LED light makes it hard to see them, but they are quite bright. They're consuming about 20 milliamps. Well, actually about 18 milliamps with this little load on. So we are doing a lot better than we were originally, considering for the RPM. Okay, it's running at 974 RPM right now. That's because I've got this little battery across it as well, you know. So anyway, I just wanted to give you an update. So we should have the foil arriving in hopefully before 10 days. I'm hoping it's going to arrive this week sometime, because it might get here a bit earlier. I don't know, but with all these holidays and the Queen coronation and all this stuff, I don't know, you know, it's just everything seems to slow down, doesn't it? We'll see. So just a little bit of information I thought I'd give you about the reason for doing this foil idea. But the foil itself might induce a small amount of drag as well, but it is only quite thin. It's very thin foil. It's only like 0.1 millimeter, so it shouldn't induce a lot of drag. I've been doing some tests actually. I've got this. You might say, well, why don't I use nanocrystalline like this stuff? Well, the reason is this stuff's very, very brittle, and when you try to wrap it in a very tight circle, it has a tendency to fracture, and that's why I've got to use some soft iron foil. Now, I did some tests with this nanocrystalline actually, and when I hold it, when I look at the RPM and I hold it next to the rotor, I can feel it on. Look at the RPM. It's not really slowing down. So maybe a little bit, but not much. But that's quite thickly wound nanocrystalline. There's about 3 or 4 layers on there, but it's only a small chunk. I know it's about that long. So I was playing around on there just to see what effect it has on RPM. Doesn't seem to have an effect. So that's a bit of good news. Sorry about that coughing. I'm just I've had some of this Nordic Spirit and it gets down my throat sometimes. It makes me cough. Yeah. Anyway, so we'll find out, won't we, when we get it and when we try it. So I'm going to go and 3D print that other pulley for that. Replace this pulley with one that's 1mm larger, and we'll see if see what the gain is on it, and see if we actually lose any power or gain power or whatever. In theory, the motor will run faster and should be less input current, and it gives it a bit more leverage. So every little bit of tweak that I can do right now, really, I'm looking at. Right, I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.